Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Kathleen Monteleone about American Reject, which is going to be available April 12th. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is great.
We're seeing day after day, week by week, music just becoming more and more part of movies. What's it like working on a movie where music is like a really big part of it and a focal point in many ways?
Oh, there's so many answers to that. But I think because I've grown up that way, that was just, I loved music. I'm a big Broadway dreamer.
Yeah.
And I think that just came naturally to me to find a story that had to revolve around music and have characters who would sing. And but honestly, the making of a movie like that it's a bigger production. Yep. There's more to write, and you got to cast people that know how to sing. So it had its challenges, but then in the end, it's a bigger reward, I think.
Absolutely. Is it safe to say your first love was musical theater?
Oh yeah. Like straight up Miss Saigon, Crazy for You, Lullaby, just like 42nd Street, dreaming for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting because musical theater, or just theater in general, I feel like there's a lot of people, because that's basically where they learn their craft. A lot of people we see on TV and film, they started in musical theater. Mm-hmm. The other way around happens too, I hear. Like, I hear people that haven't dabbled in musical theater at all. Now they're going over. Do you know people who've had that route at all, who started just in TV and film and wanted to kind of go into theater? Do you know anyone like that?
That's a good question. I mean, I know people that I would think that. No, I don't. I don't think I've met one person who hasn't at least started in.
Because I brought that up to someone. They're like, it's pretty common. Like, a lot of my friends never did theater and they wanted to go do it. I'm like, I feel like it's the opposite. Like, I feel like it's just that's where you start and then you go on the other side of things.
Yeah. Well, I feel like everyone has they started in their church, or they started at the pageant, or they started at the whatever. So I guess everything is just theater, and then you become. I've never heard of a film program or a film debut of a 5-year-old before they at least did a pageant at church.
Getting back to the film, there's a lot going on in the film. There's a lot happening, and I'm curious, when you're reading the scripts for when the scripts are being read for this, you're talking to everyone. Is it something you notice, or does it kind of sink in afterwards that there's a lot happening in the film?
I have been told that you have to watch it twice to get it. And I don't know if that's a compliment or if that's you got to watch it twice. There's a lot happening. I think the initial picture of the whole thing is it's this big, boisterous music comedy that's funny and family friendly, and it is. But there's a real core story of someone who's dealing with rejection and kind of at her end of that, and having to really go rock bottom and figure out what her win is. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, absolutely. You got to work with a lot of amazing people on this film. I mean, it seems like it's never ending. The people, it's I know this person. Oh, I know this person. Was that what it was like, kind of working on it? Just reading the call sheet and being I know all these people.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually working in post, I was I forgot how great. Oh, great. That person too. And I can't believe how good they were. And, all the things. Oh yeah. No, there's so many, because coming from theater, I have so many friends who I was able to call up and say, hey, I've got this part. Would you do it?
Yeah.
And then we had some awesome surprises like Ray Cyrus and Juvenile and even Brian Batt and just Angelica Hale, who's the star of the whole thing. She's just killer. And I hadn't watched America's Got Talent. I didn't know her fame, but now clearly I do.
There's so many people because I used to watch that show all the time with my parents, and
America's Got Talent.
Oh yeah, AGT, absolutely. And there's so many success stories from that. Many. Not top 40, you know what I mean? Not even the winners. There's so many. It's where do I recognize that person from? Oh yeah, America's Got Talent. That's a thing. That happened with Angelica Hale. I was I know her.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that's it kind of overtook, I feel, the reality shows because, like you said, your family was watching it.
Yeah.
Families watch it. Because aren't there a lot of different talents? It's not just singing. It's
Yeah,
acrobatics.
absolutely. Well, I mean, because like you know this too, right? Like at one point, like when you would watch America's Got Talent, you kind of were like, not like you still want to see the singers, but there are the reality shows for the singers. So you were hoping like it would be something else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. No, totally.
Which is amazing. A lot of people in the entertainment industry, Kathleen, are wearing many hats. They're not just kind of acting. They're doing a lot of different things. They're kind of thrown into, I feel like you kind of have to at this point. Do you agree with me with that? Like you're not just doing one thing. You're always kind of thrown in many different directions in the entertainment industry. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I have to say that it's actually really changed. I remember when I started out back in the medieval century time, that it was like, well, what are you? Are you a producer? Are you a writer? Are you an actor? You got to pick one. And now that is just out the window, thank goodness, because now actors are writing and they're able to produce, and I think being able to like open up yourself creatively and wear different hats and have different jobs actually allows you to work. It actually allows you to get better ideas. You meet new people, and this movie for me especially just opened that up. That no longer did I just have to stay in this track, but now there are a couple different options, and it's pretty great. I definitely think you can wear a bunch of hats.
I do feel too, to add to that a little bit, because that was well said. I totally agree. But I feel like there's the intimidation factor where, you know, for my show, I'm doing a lot of different things because I kind of have to. Like I'm doing the interview, I'm doing the booking, I'm doing the editing, right? And a lot of those, I'm more comfortable with some of those things than others, right? Like for editing and for graphics, I had to learn that, right? But sometimes that's intimidating because you're not going to be like a star at editing, but you kind of have to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I feel you times 100 times. Like, so producing for me is that way. So this movie I produced with my husband, and I didn't realize, and I do now, which is part of the magic of it all. The producing is talking to actors' lawyers, then going over to Kmart to buy the toilet paper for the dressing rooms on set, then getting into costume, and then standing there and being like, okay, let's shift the lines and changing the lines and making sure that someone, arrived on time. And it's nuts, but it's kind of the magic of it. And especially when you're like, this is my first, where I had to wear all the hats. Yeah. And it was a good, getting my master's and wearing all the hats. So you see
what I did there with that question, right? I kind of wanted to ask. I didn't want to directly hit it, but I kind of which was perfect because you basically brought it up. You did so much on this, basically.
Yeah. But to your point, I kind of had to. I wanted to do something that was different. I hadn't led a movie before. I wasn't going to just call up some producer and be like, you don't know me, but I really have a great story and I need to be the lead of it. So I kind of had to put myself out there that way and do it.
Well, my background's in communications and digital media and everything. And, when a lot of we would do these events where I was doing my master's and I was talking to these undergrad students about advice and everything about working in communications and the media and podcast landscape. And my main advice all the time, and I stand by it, is you're gonna have to adapt and learn a lot of different skills, and some of it's gonna suck. You're gonna feel like you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I felt that way all the time. In fact, there was one point when I just told myself, "All right, this is gonna be absolutely uncomfortable. So here we go." I just had to be okay. There's no trying to make something uncomfortable. It's just this is gonna suck. This conversation, I'm going to have hives and a rash for 15 minutes after I'm done with this conversation. But then it all comes back to the project. Yeah. That's what the focus is. And that was something new for me as an actor to learn. If it's serving the project, then that's all the focus is. Yeah. And then everything else can be cut and you don't have to do and, all that stuff.
100%. Yeah. And I feel you're totally right to your previous point, the choosing one. I feel there's still people that want to just do one thing. I guarantee you could find tons of people that are just I just want to act. But it's nope, I need you also to produce. I feel you can't, I don't feel that's a thing anymore.
I know. I think if you have done something or 10 things where you've worn 6 hats, I think you can finally go, you know what? I'm just going to write this one. Or I'm just going to...
But I feel people don't do it because they know they're not going to be good at certain things. They have their wheelhouse of the thing they're good at, right? The actor is very good at acting. He's intimidating about producing, going behind the camera, right? But it doesn't mean that like you like it's more like you have to go behind the camera. You have to go behind the camera and be really good at it, like the acting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you have to serve the project. So if you have to get behind the camera in order for the project to happen, then you just bebop on back there.
100%. Before we wrap up, they're going to be able to see the film April 12th. When they get a chance to watch American Reject, what are you hoping the audience gets out of it, takeaway-wise?
What do I hope that they get from watching American Reject?
Yeah, absolutely. Takeaway-wise, yeah.
You know what? I just hope this, it kind of like, everybody has a rejection. They may not have been on a reality show, but they have something that might have been like their what if that happened, or that moment that might have set a trajectory that they're still living on.
Yeah.
And I just hope it kind of like pushes that button and ignites that and just gives them a new like strategy or a new inspiration to change that for themselves.
That's so well said. I feel like you knew I was going to ask that because you just, you like knocked that out of the park. Because some people, that question is kind of like my hallmark question of like ending the interviews, but I was kind of contemplating like not asking it anymore because everyone was saying the same thing. Everyone was just like, I hope they get entertained. And I'm like, well, duh. Like that's but I'm hoping, but no, that's great. Kathleen, thank you so much for joining me on Pop Turn about American Reject. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. This was awesome. No, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the film's going to be available April 12th. And where can people follow you on social media to keep update with everything? Instagram, probably?
Instagram would be the spot.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. American Reject is going to be available April 12th. Until next time, it's Kathleen Monteleone and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.